Welcome, Stock Universe, to the big review of what happened in the European leagues on the first March weekend. Not included are, of course, Austria, Lask, Yay, which you can watch here. Not a big league, I admit that. And Italy, where I have a dedicated review. Milan, very much nay. You can watch that here as well. But what we'll talk about in here is, of course, the really exciting title race in Spain with a big win for Betis. And all three big teams are still involved in that one. We also had a rather exciting, however a little bit uncharacteristic FA Cup round in England with a brilliant performance by PSG, and the Bundesliga round really whet the appetite for the big German meeting in the Champions League. And I want to start in the Eredivisie, where the results turn so much in Ajax's favor that they now enjoy a really huge lead. It is an unbelievable turn of events on the top of the Eredivisie. PSV lose for a second time within a week against the go-ahead Eagles, and that allows Ajax with a very narrow 1-0 win at bottom of the table Almere City to get now an 8-point cushion on top of the table. Let's first talk about the game in Deventer. Antman, I love the name. The Eredivisie has some really great names in there. The 23rd minute gave the go-ahead Eagles the lead. However, De Jong and Lang in the 30th and the 34th turned it around in favor of PSV, and it stayed with the PSV lead for the longest of times. However, late on, there was a push by the go-ahead Eagles, who saw that there's more weaknesses in the PSV squad, and the first Glenn Patterson equalizer, but it was disallowed for an offside. But then Edwardson in the 74th gets the equalizer, and Antman at 87th, when PSV were pressing forward, gets another unlikely winner. The go-ahead Eagles sit now in 6th spot and will go into the playoffs most likely for the Conference League spot of the Eredivisie, and PSV now have to look a little bit behind themselves and of course open the door to Ajax to extend the lead. And Ajax duly did so, winning 1-0 at Almere City. Nothing to talk home about. The winning goal came already 8th minute for Kenneth Taylor, and then there was a whole lot of nothing in that game. But it is a win, and Ajax now, according to my model, an 85% favorite to win the Eredivisie title. That I would not even have expected a month ago. Other results, we had Utrecht hanging on to the third place thanks to a 1-0 win over NAC Breda, and Feyenoord could have drawn level with Utrecht and overtaken them based on goal difference. However, they only mentioned 0-0 draw at home on Robin van Persie' debut. I guess the eyes were very much on the big match against Inter in the Champions League this week. Speaking of Robin van Persie, he really suffered a huge defeat at the hands to AZ when they were beaten 9-1. Well, they get revenge now at home. They beat AZ 3-1, had a 2-0 lead. AZ to Burmeister actually pulled one back, thought they had an equalizer. However, then, as apparently Lukovic missed, but a minute later in stoppage time, Linde actually secures the win for Heerenveen. And lastly, I want to also point out a pretty huge result in the relegation battle. Sparta Rotterdam, after having a really good season last year, are in relegation trouble. However, they get a huge 4-0 win in a kind of local derby against Willem II, which means that they are now in touching distance to their rivals and might actually be on a path to survival. Probably due to the Champions League, the most eye-catching clash in the Bundesliga happened already on Friday evening when Stuttgart took on Bayern Munich. Stuttgart controlled for about half an hour the game and took a deserved lead through Stiller after a Wagnermann assist. However, it's then Olise in the 45th minute who uses a defensive error to give Bayern an equalizer just before the halftime break, and then Stuttgart goalie Nübel, who actually was under contract at Bayern not too long ago, makes 2 errors, and Goretzka and Kingsley Coman take advantage of these, and Bayern get a rather unfussy 3-1 away win. It looks like Hoffenheim got the big turnaround, beating Bochum, who had just been awarded the 2-0 win at Union Berlin. Finally, 1-0 thanks to a Bischoff goal late on in a rather tense affair, but Hoffenheim now in 13th place and 8 points ahead of their relegation rival. Speaking of relegation, Heidenheim more and more look like a team that will go down this season after a great first Bundesliga season last year. They lose at home to Borussia Mönchengladbach 3-0, Hack scoring a brace, and Ngumo also a penalty in the process. When Xavi Simons gave Leipzig the lead in the first minute against Mainz, you really thought Leipzig might kick now in the next gear. They have the chance with all their great players up front. No, nothing like that, because defense is definitely an issue. Amiri in the 52nd and Burkhardt in the 58th turned the game around round for Mainz, who incredibly sit now in a Champions League spot, and according to a model, they're even favorites to get in there. That was never in the cards, and I don't quite believe it yet. Dortmund also seemingly getting things together under Kovic, getting a 2-0 away win at St. Pauli. Again, nothing spectacular. However, Girassi and then Adeyemi running straight on goal in the 58th minute settled the game in the second half for the second win in a row. It's a little bit my fault. I have overlooked that Bremen have hit a real rough patch and now they lose again 2-1 at home to Wolfsburg. A Wolfsburg side that arguably is a side that could push for European spots, and it is Austrian Patrick Wimmer who is the star of the show, scoring the first goal in the 6th minute with his backside and then also getting the winner in the 48th minute with a thunderous shot from far out. Very late on, Weiser only can pull one back. Bremen lose again. By the table, Frankfurt against Leverkusen was the top billing. However, Leverkusen completely steamrolled Frankfurt, scoring 3 goals between the 26th and the 33rd. Thea Mukiele and Schick. Yes, Ekitike the 37th pull one back. The Alex Garcia the 62nd reestablishes 3-goal lead. This was very, very impressive. This Leverkusen team is slowly hitting the form of last season, and so watch out Bayern in the Champions League. On the first Sunday game, Holstein Kiel get a 1-0 away win at Union Berlin, meaning they're not last place in the table anymore. That took a whole lot of time, but they get it done thanks to Gigovic goal in the 42nd minute. A result that also sees Union Berlin not getting out of trouble just yet. And Freiburg cannot overtake Mainz as they manage only a 0-0 draw at Augsburg, but I keep saying it every week. Augsburg is picking up the points bit by bit, like a squirrel. Austrian Bundesliga top scorer Mika Biereth went to Monaco and was a really great signing for them. In their 3-0 win over Stade de Reims, where of course Nakamura from Last Clay was also playing, he scores a hat-trick and Monaco still stay very much in contention for the Champions League places. However, Nice are also not going away. They get a 3-1 away win at relegation-threatened Saint-Etienne, and therefore keep third place 3 points ahead of Monaco. The game of the weekend though happened in Lens, where the home side had a 2-0 and 3-2 lead and still managed to lose the game through a Hassan penalty in stoppage time, 4-3. And PSG at the moment is just irresistible. They get a 4-1 win over Lille, meaning that Lille drop out of the Champions League places. They had a 4-0 halftime lead and 4 different scorers to boot. Barcola, Marquinhos, Dembélé and Desiree Doué as well. PSG playing in a class of their own, and in this form I really can see them hurting Liverpool. Well, like I said, scored a brace in a comeback win at home to Brest. The big story, of course, was Paulo Fonseca, who got sent off after the referee went to the VAR screen, and even before knowing the decision, he went head-to-head with the referee and was very intimidating, and duly got sent off for that one. And then the decision was not even given against Lyon. Really, really mad stuff. Strasbourg also continued their quest for a European spot, winning 1-0 away from home at Auxerre, and it's again Emmanuel Emega, former Sturm Graz striker, who gets the winning goal. Then we also had a pair of 4-0 away wins. Stade Rennes win 4-0 at last place Montpellier. However, in the first half, Montpellier had 2 goals disallowed for offside, so that's also part of the story. A little bit more impressive was Toulouse's 4-0 away win at Angers. All the goals coming in the second half. 51st, 57th, 71st, and of course one in stoppage time for good measure. And after the Côte d'Azur rivals all won, well, Marseille also needed to win, and they got the win 2-0 over Nantes. Both goals coming relatively late in the second half, Guéry in the 73rd and Mason Greenwood in the 77th. A truly exciting La Liga weekend started out with a surprising 1-1 draw between Valladolid and Las Palmas. However, it was helped that with a 1-0 lead, Las Palmas was reduced to 10 men in the 29th minute through McKenna, and then Latasa in the 63rd gets the equalizer for Valladolid. The early game on Saturday saw a 2-2 draw between Girona and Celta Vigo in a clash that just screamed mid-table, but was entertaining. For a while, Rayo were potentially pushing for European spots and is not quite out of it. However, you need to win games that you should have won. I mean, they should have beaten Sevilla. However, Luca Bacchio equalizes in the 81st minute to steal a point from Vallecas. But then all eyes were on the title race, where Betis took on Real Madrid, and the red card for Anthony was rescinded, although he was not that big a factor against Real Madrid, who started out well and scored a beautiful opening goal, where Mbappe finds Mendy, plays it over to Brahim Diaz, 10th minute. Real Madrid are ahead and then stop playing, more or less. Betis took over the midfield, controlled the game, get a fully deserved equalizer when Isco assists Johnny Cardoso in the 34th minute, and then Isco, 54th minute, converts a clear penalty. Laid on few chances for Real Madrid, but overall Betis really deserved that win and are becoming slowly one of the best sides to watch in the league. And of course that loss by the city rivals ahead of their big Champions League clash allowed Atletico Madrid to overtake Real Madrid if they would win Bilbao, and they do so thanks to Julian Alvarez's goal, who had come on just a few minutes earlier. How it was also a lucky win, a gutsy win, an Atletico Madrid-like win. The best fact to show this is that Athletic Club hit 3 times the woodwork, twice in the same action, and it was really hard for Iñaki Williams to put it onto the woodwork, instead into the net. A heated but rather boring South Madrid derby was decided with an absolute peach of a goal from Garcia in the 92nd minute. He bicycle kicks it into the net. Did not fit the game, but was probably the best goal of the weekend in La Liga. And then Barcelona were probably happy to meet a Real Sociedad side between Copa del Rey and Europa League, between Real Madrid and Manchester United. So it was always clear that this is a game that Barcelona will probably win relatively easy, despite it being a big name opponent, if you would like. And it was really helped that in the 70th minute Elizondo got sent off with a direct red card for denying a goal scoring opportunity. Then Olmo assists Martin and Casado, who I think both scored their first goals for Barcelona. Ronald Araujo gets a third, so not your typical goal scorers before Lewandowski retakes the lead on top of the Pichichi starts. After an Araujo assist, Barcelona 4-0, top of the table now, a point ahead of Atleti and crucially 3 points ahead of Real Madrid. Look now the team to beat. However, they have shown some frailties already this season, something that I have not really seen from Atletico Madrid, for instance. Mallorca are also probably not pushing for European spot, especially if you only manage a 1-1 draw at home to Alaves, who are more or less relegation fodder. And then the late game between Osasuna and Valencia probably produced the game of the weekend. A 3-3 draw with an absolute mad first half where Valencia twice had the lead, and still, thanks to Budimir penalty in the 45th minute, they go 3-2 down into the halftime break, and Sadiq only very late on salvages a draw that sees Valencia draw level with Las Palmas, still with a very good chance of survival, whereas Osasuna cannot really lift themselves off a really packed midfield. And due to torrential rainfalls, the Monday evening clash between Villarreal and Espanyol was postponed. The round of 16 in the FA Cup produced a remarkable set of quarterfinalists, but also was rather unusual for an FA Cup, as we saw plenty of penalty shootouts and also some red cards that are really noteworthy. Started all out with Villa beating Cardiff City at home 2-0 thanks to 2 Asensio goals. But then the conversation really took off when Crystal Palace beat Millwall 3-1. However, the talking point was the red card for keeper Roberts, who did his best in a clumsy but also reckless way to take off Mateta's head. His ear was lacerated. Blah. That really looked ugly in every form, and the red card should have been issued immediately. Then an own goal gives Palace the lead. Munoz in the 40th minute doubles it up. Yes, Harding pulls one back. It's tight, and it needs then an 81st minute Nketiah goal to seal the deal for Palace. In a very historic duel between two championship teams, Preston North End puts 3 past Burnley. Isn't this the Burnley team that barely concedes in the league? Really weird result. Then we got our first penalty shootout between Bournemouth and Wolves, where Cunha equalized at the hour mark and Evan Nielsen go-ahead goal, and actually Wolves brought themselves back into the game. But then Cunha decided, no, I'm doing my best to get sent off and be banned for a long amount of time with an absolute weird and furious red card display, 120th minute, and so it goes into penalties, where Doherty could have won it for Wolves with the last kick. However, he misses his one, and then Bournemouth convert 2, where Traoré misses also the 6th one. I had a big smile on my face when I heard that Maxi Talovierov, former last player who came directly to Plymouth in the winter break, scored the go-ahead goal for Argyle against Manchester City. However, Manchester City were just missing chances all over the place, and O'Reilly just before the half really downed Plymouth's hopes of advancing. Then O'Reilly scores the second one, and also De Bruyne, after Haaland assist, gets in on the action. City through to the next round. Another surprising result was Brighton beating Newcastle, full-strength Newcastle, away from home 2-1 after extra time, and that despite Isak giving a lead to Newcastle in the first half. However, Minte already equalizes, then 2 red cards, one for Gordon in the 83rd minute, then Lamptey is getting sent off for a second yellow card as well, and Welbeck scores the winner in the 114th minute. Weirdly enough, it doesn't come as a big surprise that Fulham eliminate Manchester United, but it is only on penalties. Bassi had given Fulham the lead in the 46th minute. Fernandes, who else? He's the only player that really shows up for United these days, gets the equalizer, the game really hard watch, goes all the way to penalties, where Lindelof and Xerxes missed the 4th and the 5th one for United. And then on Monday, we had a teeny upset in the cards when Hurst gave Ipswich the lead in the 53rd minute. However, Yates equalizes in the 68th, and then it's a typical cup affair that goes all the way to penalties. Everything perfect until the last one by Taylor, who sees the penalty saved. Forrest, go through. Thanks to Liga Portugal giving Benfica some time to prepare for the clash against Barcelona, this round probably did not have the big drama that we usually have with both Lisbon teams being neck to neck. However, there were some interesting results in there. Porto, at least temporarily, go within 3 points of Benfica. Yes, a game more thanks to 2-0 away win at Arouca, thanks to a Samu penalty and a Vieira goal in the 77th minute. Vitoria used the chance to claw themselves back into a potential European spot thanks to a 1-0 win over Casa Pia, who were just ahead of them. Now they're 1 point behind them. We also had a sign of life from Boavista, who are in serious relegation trouble, beating Santa Clara, the surprise team of the season, 1-0 at home thanks to a very late Lützov goal. Another surprise result was Braga losing 2-1 away from home at Rio Ave, and that means now 3 points behind Porto, probably a Europa League finish for Braga. And on Monday, Sporting extend the leading table to 3 points ahead of Benfica, thanks to a 3-1 win over Estoril. However, I was a little bit nervy at times yesterday, 2-0 halftime lead through Inácio and Gyökeres. However, in the 84th minute, Costa pulls one back, then Carvalho is sent off for handling the ball, and Gyökeres converts the ensuing penalty. And there we have it. Please let me know your thoughts on all of these actions in these leagues. How did you enjoy it? Drop a line below. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like these, and I'll talk to you soon about more things in my soccer universe. Bye! Hey there! I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, here are some videos and playlists that you may enjoy too. Also, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit the little bell icon so you get notified whenever something happens in my soccer universe. And with that, have a wonderful day. Bye!